So I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. And this was a hand actually from last week. It was played, oh no, sorry, it was played on Monday. And I want to start with a bidding problem here, where you here have opened one club, your partner responded one diamond, and North jumps to four hearts. And the question for you is, what do you think you should bid with the East hand? I don't have a poll on this, but I'd just like to get your thoughts as to what, if anything, you're going to bid on this hand.
I think we passed and they didn't make four hearts.
Double.
Oh, pass.
Double.
Well,
Pass.
what?
Pass.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on this hand is, think about it. You've got 17 points, and your partner has responded to you, so they've got at least 6 points. So you have the balance. You have the balance of points here, you and your partner. North has come in with this four heart bid, and I think you absolutely have to bid here. I think you absolutely have to double here. What you know is that you have the balance of the points. You also can see, presumably, 3 tricks at least in your hand. You've got the King of Hearts. That's bound to make a trick because North has got a very long heart suit. And you've got the Ace of Diamonds, the Ace of Clubs. And I think you really need to double here. You're not... I'm just
can
going...
you mute everybody, please?
Yeah, there's a bit of background noise there from you. So if you wish to speak, do unmute yourselves. Yeah, I've just muted everyone. You absolutely have to bid here, I think, because otherwise you're letting the opponents get away with 4 hearts here. Now, you don't absolutely know for certain that it's going to be defeated, but everything points to that. The fact that you and your partner have got the majority of the points, and I think you really need to bid something. It's very hard to make a positive bid, like, 5 diamonds or 5 clubs. You don't know if you're going to make those contracts, but you have every suspicion that you're going to defeat 4 hearts.
Tony, I remember that hand. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I remember.
And so go ahead.
The worry is that from our BBO experience, they'll have a void in clubs or something.
Yeah. Well, it is possible. And every now and then you'll double in a situation like this, and they will make 4 hearts. The thing is, if that never happens to you, you are not doubling enough. Because sometimes you will double and they will actually make a contract and they'll get a very good score. But the problem with not doubling is that, then people will get to know that you're someone who doesn't really double aggressively, and they'll get away with sacrificing against you. This was actually the hand here. And you can see most people played this in 4 hearts or some in 5 hearts. The only contract that was made by East West was 5 clubs. One person made 5 clubs. One person went down in 5 clubs. Computer says you can actually make 5 clubs or 5 no trump. And in 4 hearts, the computer says that should be down 2. So you should definitely double rather than leave them in 4 hearts. As you can see, 4 hearts by North going down 1, not doubled, was a pretty good score for North-South, getting 11 out of a possible 14 points. But I think the East hand should double there. You have, aces and kings. And in fact, you can only make 1 club, but fortunately your partner's got something over there, which he's got to have. So you can defeat it by 1 trick or 2 tricks with best possible defense. So I would definitely count this as a hand where you really want to double, and hopefully your partner will understand that is penalties. This was another time it was played, and here it went: 1 club, 5 clubs, 5 hearts, And I think East, again, has a very clear-cut double here. You don't know exactly what's going on here, and your partner's 5 clubs could be quite weak, but you do not expect that they're going to make 5 hearts. You're hoping to take a couple of aces and the king of hearts, and you really should double. If they got away with playing in 5 hearts and maybe just go down 1 or 2 tricks, whereas if you double, you'll get a much better score if you defeat them. Anyone have any comments or questions on that? If you're not inclined to double with the East hand, then I think you need to think about being a little bit more aggressive in your doubling. And people, if they know that you are going to double them, they'll be much less keen to outbid you. Let's have a look at another hand. This one was played on Monday, and I'd like to start this one off with a bidding question for you, which is going to be in the form of a poll. And this time your partner opens 1 diamond, North bids 2 spades. Now, if you're not sure what that means, you should ask, and South here tells you that it's a weak jump over call. A lot of you now play weak jump over calls, which I do recommend, and a weak jump over call is a bit like a weak 2. It should be a 6-card suit with maybe 6 to 10 points and a reasonable spade suit. So they come in with a 2 spade overcall, and the poll question for you is, what are you going to bid with the East hand? Okay, so have a little think about it. And in a moment I'm going to launch the first poll of the evening. What should East bid over 2 spades? Okay, so here's the result. Majority here went for 3 hearts, 51%, 34% went for 3 no trump, 11% said double, and 1 person said 4 hearts. Well, no one passed, so I agree with that bidding. It's very difficult here, but you definitely have to bid something, and I think either 3 hearts or 3 no trump are reasonable bids. 3 no trump is a bit frightening, because although you have a spade stopper, it's just a king, and you could be in trouble in no trump. But your partner has no idea that you have so many points. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13 points here. So you know you have the balance of points, and you know you should be thinking about bidding something. So I think either 3 no trump or 3 hearts is reasonable. 3 hearts will be a forcing bid, showing something like this and asking your partner to support you. I don't like a double here. A double would be more like a negative double and would tend to show the unbid suit. So a double would not be for penalties here, but it would be a takeout double, maybe showing 4 hearts and 4 clubs. So I don't think it's quite right for that, but I think you just have to bid at the 3 level here. Here's one person who did bid at the 3 level. They bid 3 no trump and played in 3 no trump. The opponents here led a spade. This is actually how it was played at one table. And you can actually see that 3 no trump is a pretty good contract, because as it turns out, you can make 6 diamonds. You'll make 6 diamonds, 2 hearts, and the lead will give you a trick with the king of spades. So some people did end up, this was the hand here, and some people did end up in 3 no trump here, and 3 no trump, as you can see, is a makeable contract, and that was a good score, especially one person managed an extra trick here. Other scores on this hand, well, someone played it in 4 hearts, and unfortunately that didn't go very well. The computer says it can't make 4 hearts, but you can make 3 no trump or 4 diamonds. So I think you have to bid something here, and hopefully you'll end up in 3 no trump. I'll look at it one time, because this hand in particular, you can see they played it in 4 spades and went down 2. One played here, one played it in 3 spades going down, and 4 spades going down 2. And 4 spades going down 2 is quite a good score for North-South, because they only lost 100 points for that, which gives them a score of 8 out of a possible 12 points. The hand where they played it in 4 spades was actually bid like this, and it went 1 diamond, 2 spades pass, which I don't agree with. Passing on that hand, your hand is much too good. Your partner comes in again with 3 diamonds, 3 spades, 4 diamonds, and then 4 spades. And here, after 4 spades, East absolutely has to double that, because once your partner's made an opening bid, they've rebid again, and you've got 1, 2, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 points here. So you know you have the balance of points, and you cannot let them play in 4 spades undoubled. All right, they're just getting away with murder if they do that, and they may end up getting a very good score for it. So anytime you and your partner appear to have the balance of points, you should think about doubling. It's not guaranteed that you're going to defeat them in a situation like this, but every now and then they'll make it, but you still should double, because in the long run, first of all, generally you'll get a better score, and second, it will put them off bidding, making sacrifice bids against you. If they think you're not going to double, they may only suffer a penalty of 50 or 100. Okay, any comments or questions on that?
Yeah, Tony, it's Mohini here. Just a question, please. So in this situation, if they've gone 2 spades, so I'm assuming that they have a shortage in diamonds. Rather than doing 5 diamonds, it's better to double 4 spades.
Yes.
Fine.
I think so. I mean, maybe you can make 5 diamonds, but it's hard to know. 5 diamonds is hard to make. And unless you had, if the East hand were much more distributional, and maybe you had better support for your partner's diamonds, then maybe you could be, bidding diamonds. But you should probably take some action. And I think doubling 4 spades is going to be a good tactic. You first of all, you've got the good king of spades. That's in a good place, because you suspect that North has probably got the ace. You've got 3 cards in your partner's suit, which is some tricks, but probably means you'll be able to take a trick or 2 there. And you've got the ace of hearts. So given that your partner's an opening hand, has got to have some strength over there. I would definitely go for the double. You can also look at the vulnerability here, and obviously if they are vulnerable, then that would steer you even more towards doubling rather than bidding. The other thing, of course, is you get to know your opponents, and you get to know whether they are sort of reckless bidders or conservative bidders, and that may affect your decision as well. Let's have a look at another one, and I've got a poll on this one, similar to the last one. Your partner here opens 1 spade, South overcalls 4 clubs, and you bid 4 spades. I think that's a reasonable bid here, because you've got 12 points, you've got a 5 in spades, and you bid 4 spades. And North, however, bids 5 clubs, and that comes back round to you. And the second poll I'm going to launch is, what would you bid here? So let me launch that second poll. What do you think Wes should bid here? The browser. And the majority here have gone for double, and a smaller number, 14%, have gone for 5 spades. No one passed, so I definitely agree with not passing here, and I think the best bid is to double there. The problem with bidding 5 spades here is you can't really be sure if you're going to make it. You don't really know what your partner's hand is here. Your partner, by the way, had a chance to double or bid themselves, so they didn't bid anything. So you're free to do either thing. For example, if they had doubled 5 clubs, you would 9 times out of 10 you would pass and not bid 5 spades. But if they pass it, the ball is in your court, and given that your partner's got an opening hand and you've got an opening hand, you know you have the majority of the points, you've got to take some action. And with no real extreme distribution in your hand, I would double. So I think a double is the right bid there. In particular, you've got 2 aces, including the ace of clubs, and you hope you'll be able to make at least one more trick somewhere from in your hand or with your partner's help. So I like the double there, and that ends the auction. And I've got a third and final poll for you here, which is, what would you lead? You are on opening lead against a 5-club contract, and I'm going to launch the final poll and ask you, what should you lead? Things are fairly evenly divided, and 41% went for a spade, which was your suit. That may seem the obvious lead. 38% chose a heart. If you lead a heart, you would lead the ace atop of a doubleton. One person went for a diamond, and 19% went for clubs. So let's have a look at the hand and see what we know. Well, your partner has got an opening hand. Presumably they have 12 or more points. You have 12 points. So you have 24 points at least between you. And the opponents have no more than 16 points in high cards. And yet here they are bidding 5 clubs. They are sacrificing against you. Okay? They have good distribution, especially south, and they have decided to sacrifice against you. And in a situation like that, where the opponents have a lot weaker hand than you have, but are just sacrificing based on good trump holding, it is often right to lead a trump. Yes, on this hand, I think you should lead the ace of clubs. And if you do lead the ace of clubs, we'll look at dummy. You'll see that dummy doesn't have much, but they do have 3 clubs. You don't know exactly how many clubs south has, but presumably they have at least 7 for that bid. And what you can see in the north hand is that there is a shortage in diamonds. North has got only 2 diamonds. So there's every prospect that, given the option, declarer has some diamonds in their hand which they may choose to try and rough in dummy. So this bidding sequence is a real clue that you should be thinking about leading a club. And when you lead the ace of clubs, you have the ace. Let's see what happened. Your partner discards. You should carry on with another club. You're trying to get rid of the clubs from dummy so that the declarer cannot rough with that suit. So you'll play another club. Declarer will win that. Let's bring up the 4 hands at this point, and you can see that declarer has got what losers? Well, they've got they're not going to lose any spades, but they've got 2 heart losers. They've lost 1 trick in clubs, and their only other loser is in diamonds, where they happen to have the ace of diamonds and 2 others. And given the chance, they will be able to rough one of those diamonds in dummy. So by you leading clubs, you're cutting down on their ability to rough in dummy. After that, let's suppose declarer does play a diamond, because they're trying to rough a diamond. Now when they play another diamond, you get a chance to win. Of course, your partner must let you win that one with the jack, so that you can now draw that last trump from dummy. You draw that last trump, and now declarer is left with the diamonds that they will end up losing. So after this, declarer can play spades, rough spades if they like. They can play off their trumps. That's not a bad tactic, but at the end, they should lose the last 3 tricks, losing 2 hearts and a diamond at the end. And that is the best you can probably do, other than possibly bidding five spades. If I click on the GIB link at this point, you can see that on opening lead, the computer is saying that the best lead is a club, or you can leave a heart as long as you then switch to a club. But basically, drawing trumps in this situation is normally a good approach when the opponents are known to be sacrificing against you.
These numbers, 2, 2, 3, 3, they are telling how many tricks you will make.
Say that again. Yes. So that's
Yes.
what they're saying. So they're saying you can you can always defeat this contract, but the best lead, which will lead to a loss of 3 tricks, is either a club or a heart, and then playing a club after that. In other words, you're preventing the diamond ruff.
So these numbers are that you will be gaining these, what this number shows is that you are going to win this.
You'll defeat the contract. That's the number of tricks that declarer will go down by, either
Okay.
2 or
Number
3.
of tricks.
Yeah, the number of tricks that they'll be defeated by.
Okay, they are showing number
yeah.
of tricks you can make. Okay, lovely.
I mean, on this particular hand, if you have a look at it from the east-west point of view, you can see that you might make 5 spades, or you might not. I mean, you're going to lose a spade and a diamond, and depending on the hearts, depending on whether you manage to avoid a heart loser there, which you might do, you might make 5 spades. But it's very hard to know from East's point of view whether you can make 5 spades or not. And so it's probably much better to double and hope you get a reasonable score, rather than risking 5 spades.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
I said I've put heart, that I will play heart.
Yes.
Was it very, very wrong or no?
Well, let's see. What would happen if you led a heart? You would cash the ace of hearts. Then maybe your partner would give you an encouraging signal and play another heart, which they should be able to take with the 10. They might
Then
play.
I will not play heart because I know 8 hearts have gone and there is the chance of trumping from
Yeah.
the partner. So after 2 hearts, I will go for club.
Well, if East gains the lead with the second heart, with a heart, they may lead another heart because that could be ruffed. In fact, South can ruff it, and East could overruff it, but not if South ruffs high. So South here, if they do play 2 rounds of hearts, should probably ruff high with the Jack 10 or 9, and then that can only be overruffed with the ace. So, it's not a terrible lead, but the best lead in these situations where they appear to be sacrificing against you is to definitely consider leading a trump.
And why did you started with 4 clubs, not 3 clubs?
Why did South bid 4 clubs?
Because he had only 7 clubs.
Well, so South obviously could bid 3 clubs if that's a weak bid. I mean, some people play that 3 clubs, which is a normal jump over call, is a strong bid. So they would have to bid 4 clubs if they wanted to indicate a preemptive bid. And although they only have 7 clubs, they do have a very nice hand. So 4 clubs is reasonable, and it definitely helps to put pressure on the opponents. Okay. Any other comments or questions on that?
Yes, please.
Yes.
It just shows that doing these quite adventurous things actually pays off, because
Yes.
that's a much better score, isn't it?
What you mean, just going down in 5
Yes,
clubs?
they're not vulnerable.
No. Yeah, I mean, that's right. Depending on the vulnerability, well,
Yeah.
so it depends on a few things. I mean, going down 3 is not a bad score if you're not vulnerable. If you're doubled down 3, that's 500. So it would depend on the vulnerability the other way. But at favourable vulnerability, it could pay off. And the other thing that can happen if you bid 5 clubs is they may bid 5 spades and they may not make it.
That's right.
So there are, I see a big difference in players here. Some I know are pretty adventurous, shall we say, in terms of the bidding, and other people are a bit too timid. So if you are a bit too timid, then you should be more adventurous, and if you're too bold, maybe you should be a little bit less. But it depends. Do you know who you are? I have a good idea, but if you're not,
Well, I think I was playing one of these hands with Steve, and I was actually amazed when he jumped to 4, whatever it was.
yes. You mean the first one, maybe? Was it the first one we looked at? This 4-heart one, was it? Or a different one?
Is it Steve that's reckless?
But it paid off.
Yes. Well, I think it does in a situation like this. It puts real pressure on East to what to bid, and if you just pass, then you'll probably get a bad score here because it'll only go down 1 or 2 tricks.
I think it's a very good tip, actually, to look at this score and see if you've got the majority of points, then the likelihood is that they're going to go off.
Yes.
So that's a very good tip, I think.
It doesn't always happen, and once in a while they'll make an seemingly unlikely contract, but the majority of the time you'll come out ahead, and also they will get to know that you're not to be taken lightly. All right, let's end the talk there, with the exception of asking if there's anyone here who needs a partner. Stay on the line.